Christmas Eve was never supposed to feel like this. Quiet, echoing, and a little too bright in all the wrong places. I stood in my living room, staring at the half-decorated tree like it had personally offended me. The lights were tangled, the star was crooked, and the silence of my apartment pressed in around me, punctuated only by some distant carol bleeding in from a neighbor's TV. I'd grown up with loud Christmases. Family packed into one house, kids screaming, adults laughing, food everywhere. But this year, my parents were on a cruise, my brother was out of state with his in-laws, and my last relationship had ended in October with the phrase, "I just don't see a future here." So there I was, alone, on Christmas Eve, trying to force myself to care about a tree that wouldn't cooperate. Before I tell you how a knock at my door turned that empty, quiet night into the warmest Christmas I've had in years, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment so more Sapphic women can find these cozy, romantic stories here on Sapphic Fiction Hub. Now, let me tell you about the woman I met on Christmas Eve. At first, I thought it was a package. It was that time of year, last-minute deliveries, confused drivers, wrong doors. The knock was light, hesitant, like the person on the other side wasn't completely sure they should be there. I almost ignored it. I was wearing sweatpants with tiny snowflakes on them, my hair in a loose bun, and my hands still covered in bits of crushed pine from fighting with the tree. But something about that soft knock tugged at me. So I wiped my hands on my sweatshirt, walked to the door, and opened it. She stood there holding a cardboard box and a roll of tape, cheeks flushed from the cold, curly dark hair peeking out from under a beanie, green eyes that somehow looked both nervous and amused. "Hi," she said. I think I need your help. I'm Mia," she added quickly, as if the words might run away if she didn't say them fast enough. "I just moved into 4C, your neighbor, and I swear I'm not usually the type of person who knocks on strangers' doors on Christmas Eve, but..." She lifted the box helplessly. "I own exactly one glass, one plate, one fork, and zero Christmas spirit. Also, my Wi-Fi isn't working, my heater died, and I just lost a wrestling match with my own tree. So I figured I could either cry alone on the floor or come ask the only other person on this floor with a visible Christmas tree for help." I blinked at her, then glanced instinctively toward my own tree, its lights half unraveled. "You picked the right mess," I said. She smiled, really smiled, for the first time. "Good," she said, "because I brought bribes." She lifted the buck slightly. "I have homemade cookies my mom sent me. I can't eat them all, and it felt wrong to have them in a cold, undecorated apartment with no one to roll their eyes at the amount of cinnamon. I had me at cinnamon," I said. She grinned. "So, is this weird?" she asked softly. "Me asking if you'd help me decorate my tree and maybe let me stand in your warm apartment for 5 minutes so I can feel my fingers again?" "It's exactly the right amount of weird," I replied. "Come in." She stepped inside, instantly filling the space with something warm that had nothing to do with the heater. She glanced around, eyes lingering on the half-decorated tree, the box of ornaments on the floor, and the string of lights that looked like they'd given up. "Wow," she breathed. "Your place feels like a Christmas movie that paused halfway through." "It kind of is," I said. "I'm Lauren, by the way." "Pretty name," she murmured. My chest tightened just a little. "Thanks. So what exactly did you need help with? The tree? The heater? The existential crisis?" "Yes," she said, without missing a beat, then laughed, a soft, musical sound that made me want to hear it again. "How about this? You help me tame this tree, and I'll help you with yours. And in between, we eat your mom's cookies and pretend we know what we're doing with our lives." She exhaled slowly, like the offer had released something in her. "This might be the best Christmas plan I've ever heard," she said. "Deal." She set the cookie box on the coffee table and kneeled beside the tangled lights like she was approaching a wild animal. "Okay," she said. "Let's do this." We worked side by side, fingers brushing occasionally as we separated wires, bulbs, and ornaments. She was surprisingly patient for someone who claimed her own tree had defeated her. "So," she said, carefully looping a section of lights over a branch, "you spending Christmas alone too?" "Yeah," I said. "My family's all elsewhere this year. I offered to host, but they had other plans. You?" She shrugged, focusing on the tree. "My family's back in Chicago. They're complicated. I love them, I just don't always feel like myself around them. So I took the job here, told them I'd visit another time, and pretended not to hear the disappointment in their voices." "That sounds familiar," I said, quietly. She glanced at me. "They don't know?" she asked, gently. "They know. They just don't ask, and I don't bring anyone home. It's easier that way." Mia nodded slowly. "Same." Our eyes met, a small, shared understanding hanging between us. "Do you miss them?" I asked. "Yes," she said honestly. "And no. I miss the good parts. The way my mom hums while she cooks, my little cousins laugh, the chaos. But I don't miss feeling like the strange one who hasn't found the right guy yet." She rolled her eyes fondly. "Like I haven't been loudly not interested in guys since I was 14. I have to laugh. "You came out at 14? I asked. "Accidentally," she said. "I wrote a poem about a girl I liked. My mom found it. It was dramatic." "What happened?" "She cried. Then I cried. Then we made hot chocolate and talked for 4 hours. She's trying. My dad pretends he already knew. My aunt still sends me articles about modern relationships, like she's doing research. Her tone was light, but there was history in it." "And you?" she asked. "When did you know?" I wrapped a string of lights around another branch. "I always knew," I said. But I admitted it to myself at 19. Told my best friend first, then my brother. My parents, used the phrase, "as long as you're happy," which is code for, "we're going to talk about this in private later." But they've gotten better. "Do you bring girls home?" she asked softly. "Not yet. Haven't met anyone I'd want to put them through that holiday interrogation." She smiled at that, a small, thoughtful smile. "Well," she said, "for what it's worth, you're not spending this Christmas alone." We finally got the lights wrapped around the tree. Mia stepped back, hand on her hip, head tilted. "Moment of truth," she said. "Ready?" I nodded. She reached for the plug, glanced at me once more like we were preparing for something much bigger than illumination, and then connected it. The tree lit up in a warm, golden glow. The whole room seemed to shift, softer, kinder than the kind of light that made everything look gentler than it had a moment ago. Mia's face lit up too, quite literally. Her eyes sparkled, the soft glow reflecting in them. "Beautiful," she whispered. I wasn't looking at the tree. "Yeah," I murmured. "It is. Time for the bribe." We sat on the floor, backs against the couch, legs stretched out in front of us, sharing sugar cookies in the shapes of stars and snowflakes. She told me her mom overbaked them every year and then drowned them in icing. "They're not pretty," she warned, opening the box. They weren't. The icing was a little lopsided, the sprinkles chaotic. "But they're made with love," she said. "And butter, mostly butter." I took a bite and they were perfect. "These taste like childhood," I said. "Messy and too sweet?" she asked. Exactly. Our shoulders touched as we leaned back. Neither of us moved away. "Okay," she said after we'd finished a couple of cookies. "Now you've seen my bribes and my emotional baggage. Come see my tree." I laughed. "Wow, straight to the big step." "That's me, fast but gentle."
She realized what she said half a second too late and covered her face with her hands. "Oh my God," she groaned. "Please pretend I didn't phrase it like that." I laughed so hard my eyes watered. "I'm definitely not pretending, but I will come help your tree." She peeked at me between her fingers, cheeks flushed, eyes bright. "Good," she said, "because it's a disaster." Her place was smaller than mine, still half in boxes, but warm. Fairy lights hung haphazardly around the window, a candle flickering on a stack of books, a large, undecorated tree standing in the corner like it was waiting for its moment. "See?" she said. "Tragic. It's full of potential, like you." She blinked. "Are you flirting with me?" she asked, voice soft. "Yes," I said. "I think I am." She smiled slowly, a quiet, blooming kind of smile. "Good," she whispered. "I thought I was imagining it." We went through her single box of ornaments, hand-painted ones from her grandmother, a tiny clay penguin her cousin made, a glass snowflake her mom had sent her this year. "You've got history in these," I said, holding up a faded red ball with a chipped side. "Yeah," she said, "they've survived a lot of moves and at least one cat." We hung them carefully, telling stories for each one. She told me about the year her aunt tried to make a turkey and nearly set the kitchen on fire, the time she and her cousin built a snow woman in the yard and gave her a rainbow scarf before it was cool. And I told her about the year my brother and I stayed up all night trying to catch Santa and fell asleep in a fort of wrapping paper instead. We laughed, we shared. The tree filled slowly with color and memory. When we finished, she plugged in her lights. Her tree lit up in softer, more scattered colors than mine, but it suited her. We stood there, side by side, watching the lights blink. "Now it feels like Christmas," she whispered. "It does," I said. We were standing very close. Our arms touched, and this time I felt her lean into me, just slightly. I turned my head. She was looking at the tree, but her eyes kept flicking to me. "Thank you for helping," she said. "Tonight would have been really quiet without you." "Same," I said. "I was just arguing with inanimate objects before you showed up." "Now you're arguing with animate ones," she teased. I smiled. "I like this upgrade." Her eyes drifted upward. "You don't happen to have mistletoe, do you?" she asked lightly. "No, but we have LEDs and questionable judgment." She laughed, cheeks flushing again. "That might be enough," she murmured. The air between us thickened, not rushed, not desperate, just warm, expectant. "Why did you really come to my door?" I asked quietly. She hesitated, fingers curling around the hem of her sweater. "Honestly," she said, "I saw your tree through the hallway window when I came upstairs, and it looked like someone was trying, even if it wasn't going well." "Ouch," I said, but I smiled. "I meant that in the nicest way. I just, I didn't want to be alone tonight, and it looked like maybe you didn't either." I swallowed. I didn't. I think I've been trying to pretend I'm okay with being alone on holidays, but it still hurts. She nodded. "Me too." I don't know which one of us moved first. One moment we were standing there, facing the tree. The next, I felt her hands slide slowly into mine. Her skin was warm, her fingers laced with mine like they'd done it before in another lifetime. "Is this okay?" she asked softly. "Yes," I whispered. "Very." She let out a breath I don't think she realized she was holding. "Good," she murmured. We turned toward each other fully. She was closer now, the glow of the lights painting her face in soft color.
"Lauren," she said gently.
"Yeah?"
"This is kind of the best Christmas Eve I've had in a long time." "Mine too." She laughed softly. "Is it weird to say I feel like I've known you longer than an hour?" "No," I said, "because I feel it too." Her gaze flicked to my lips, then back up to my eyes. Can I? She started. I nodded before she finished the question. Her hand lifted, brushing my cheek, fingers tucking a loose strand of hair behind my ear. Her touch was gentle, deliberate. I leaned into it without thinking. She leaned in slowly, giving me time to back away, time to change my mind. I didn't. Our lips met in a soft, careful kiss, the kind that feels like a question and an answer at the same time. Warm, gentle, unhurried. Her other hand slid to my waist, fingers curling lightly in the fabric of my sweater. I rested one hand on her shoulder, feeling the tension there melt. The tree lights blinked behind us, the faint smell of pine and sugar cookies, and something like hope surrounded us. When we finally pulled away, our foreheads rested together. "Wow," she whispered. "Yeah, wow." "Do you want to come back for a bit?" I asked quietly. "To my place, I mean. We can watch something, or just keep pretending we know what we're doing with our lives." She smiled. "I'd like that," she said. We went back to my apartment, bringing the cookies with us like a peace treaty. I turned on an old Christmas movie, more for the background noise than anything else. We sat on the couch under a throw blanket, her legs tucked close to mine, her head resting lightly against my shoulder. The movie played, but I couldn't tell you a single line. I was too busy memorizing the sound of her breathing. At some point, she whispered, "Can I tell you something?" "Anything." I thought this Christmas would make me feel wrong, like I made the wrong choice leaving home. Like I'd messed up. But meeting you, she paused, fingers drawing tiny circles on my forearm. Meeting you makes it feel like maybe I made the right choice after all. My throat tightened. "I'm really glad you knocked," I replied softly. I was starting to think Christmas was done with me. She tilted her head up to look at me. "It's not," she whispered. Maybe it was just waiting for the right co-star. The credits rolled. Somewhere outside, a church bell chimed midnight. "Officially Christmas," I murmured. She smiled. "Then, Merry Christmas, Lauren." "Merry Christmas, Mia." She leaned in and kissed me again, slightly deeper this time, still unhurried, still gentle, but with a warmth that felt like it belonged to more than just one night. When we broke apart, her head rested against my shoulder. "Do you think we can do this again? Decorate trees poorly and kiss on holidays?" She laughed. "Something like that." "Yes," I said. "I really, really do." If this soft Christmas Eve romance warmed your heart the way it warmed mine, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share so more Sapphic women can discover these cozy, magical stories on Sapphic Fiction Hub, where every holiday, every knock on the door, and every unexpected moment can become the beginning of something beautiful.